Once you start the disputing process against a collection company, you are now starting a clock against yourself and that collection company. And you're actually going to be contacted more by that collection company than you've ever been contacted before. If you don't know who I am, my name is Kenny Johnson. I operate a credit repair company here in Montreal, but we have clients all across Canada. So just to jump right into the topic, as soon as you start the disputing process against a collection company, so let's say you send a dispute letter directly to the collection company, or you send a dispute letter to Equifax or TransUnion. As soon as you do that, you are now making aware that collection company that you are aware of the collection account itself. And so while they may have already been probably sending you a few emails, calling you here and there, but for the most part, you have to understand that this is kind of like a sale. A sales rep has control over that debt that you currently have with that collection company. And so once you make them aware, once you submit that dispute, you are now making them aware that this debt is no longer a cold lead. It is now a very warm lead because you're signaling a few messages. One is that they know you now have an interest in trying to improve your credit. They know you're trying to work towards taking care of this debt. Okay. Now, is a collection company truly trying to help you improve your credit? The quick and easy answer is no. The business of collection companies is to purchase debt for a low amount and then sell them for a higher amount, making profit in the middle. So they may call you, contact you, and try to play this role of advisor or act as if they have your best interest in heart or trying to help you improve your credit. But if you understand how collection companies work, in most situations, you're being offered a settlement. And when we do a settlement, what's happening is the account is being paid off. And then once that account is paid off, it's just being updated. That's it. And if you know even more, then you understand that that collection account still being there, even though it's at a $0 balance, it is still hurting your credit. Okay. So I'm not saying or I'm not against paying a collection company. I'm against collection companies that aren't doing the process in the correct manner. I'm against not following the proper steps to handling debt. And so you'll hear me say a lot of times that if a collection company properly owns the debt, then you need to handle that accordingly with that collection company. Now, if you don't know, if you're new, when we're dealing with a collection company, we're always looking for proof of debt. And there's two ways that we can go about this approach. The first way is by contacting them directly, and you're asking them to provide you a proof of debt. And then when you dispute directly with Equifax or TransUnion, then Equifax and TransUnion is then going to contact that collection company requesting for proof of debt. And so the smart thing to do is to one, contact them directly, and then two, have Equifax and TransUnion contact them directly. Now they're being contacted by multiple sources asking to produce proper proof of debt or documentation. Now, if you don't know what proper proof of debt is, usually it is the signed contract or the signed user agreement you signed with the creditor that you originally had the debt to. So let's say, for example, you had a BMO account and you went derogatory on that BMO account. You signed a user agreement with BMO. Now, when they sell the debt, they're supposed to send that contract over to the collection company. Further verification of this is that you can actually go to a collection company's website and you could kind of play the role of you wanting to submit a debt to them to go and collect on. And you would see a lot of the things that they're looking for so they can properly purchase the debt. And one of those things is going to be the contract that the user signed before they started taking on your services. And so that's extremely important. They understand that without this, collection accounts can be easily removed from your credit report. Okay. Now, we want to make sure that they're providing us with this documentation. Now, as soon as you submit those disputes, they're going to start calling you. And now you may ask, why is this? Because they're going to start calling you a lot. And the reason why is because if they are not able to produce proof of debt, then they're essentially going to lose that asset, which is the debt. So as soon as you start disputing with Equifax and TransUnion, they're going to start following up with them. Now they're able to stall Equifax and TransUnion, hold them at bay, but that only works for so long. If they don't have proof of debt, if they don't have documentation, eventually Equifax and TransUnion are going to remove those accounts off. And so if a collection company doesn't properly have debt, they're going to start calling you a bunch. They're going to email you a bunch. They may even start getting more aggressive. I've seen a lot of situations where collection companies can get very aggressive. If you want to see examples of this, it's actually listed publicly. I encourage you to go Google some of the collection companies that you may have on your credit report. Read some of the comments, some of the Reddit threads, or even some of the reviews on those collection companies, and you would see the client experience of how collection companies can get very aggressive with individuals, taking it as far as actually trying or attempting to physically appear to the consumer's address. Okay, and they're doing this to race against that clock. That's why I said at the very beginning of the video, as soon as you start the disputing process, you're racing against the clock, and the collection company is racing against the clock because they know if they can't get you to pay or make a settlement on that account, that it's going to be removed off of your credit report. And the reason why they're racing is because, again, they lose all leverage. If there's nothing on your credit report, if there's nothing on your Equifax and your TransUnion, then you are less encouraged to actually make a payment to that collection company. But keep in mind, the game is very simple. You have to be able to ignore a lot of the noise because once you start the disputing process and you start getting contacted, you're going to receive a lot of intimidating letters, not only from the collection companies, but also from Equifax and TransUnion. Because I like to say Equifax likes to play the victim in a lot of situations. They like to gaslight consumers in the sense that they'll say, let's say you submit a dispute, and they say, oh well, we know that a company is disputing on your behalf or anything like that. But a lot of times on the backside, they're still actually going through the process of investigating that account. So it's important that you ignore or you're able to block out a lot of the noise because you're gonna see a lot of things that don't matter. I always just want to say, I say the same thing all the time because I really want you to focus in when you're disputing. Focus in on what matters. And it's one thing. Can they produce proof of debt? If they produce proof of debt, you need to try to negotiate paper deletion, which they are not entitled to do. But you need to try to negotiate paper deletion. If they cannot produce proof of debt, ignore everything else. Ignore everything else. A lot of people get tricked. Okay. I'm extremely sad to say I've had clients that we've started disputing for them. And we tell them anything you receive from a collection company, send it to us. Do not answer the calls. We are dealing with this via letter mail. We have our own way of communicating with these collection companies, and they fall trapped to this. They answer the phone. They pay these collection companies, and what they don't realize is that now that they've paid the debt to the collection company and they were not patient, they've now lost all leverage. We have to understand the true leverage in this scenario is the debt itself. And so if it's removed off of the credit report, now the collection companies lose leverage and they're wasting their time contacting you. If you decide to pay that debt before the investigation with Equifax and TransUnion is done, you now have lost leverage. Because even if proof of debt, let's say you go ahead and proactively pay off that collection account. One, it's still going to be on your credit report. Two, if they are able to provide proof of debt, then you have pretty much a 0% chance of negotiating paper deletion. Why? You've already paid it off. There's no incentive for that collection company to try to go forward with pay for deletion. So it's really important that you're smart. And if you make the decision to start the disputing process, be ready. But you have to, once you start it, don't stop. Stay consistent and look for that one thing, which is proof of debt. Now, if you have a bunch of collection accounts, you have a bunch of derogatory accounts, and it seems overwhelming, and you don't know what to do, my company, KJU, is here to assist you with your disputing efforts. If you need assistance, you can send us an email, info@kennyjohnsonuniversity.com. Me and my team will be happy to get on a free consultation call with you to assist you and to help. And if you need assistance, please do not hesitate to reach out. Until next time, peace.